Can you believe it's almost September? Sad my summer's almost gone. Let's talk about it. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Better Lait Than Never. Shit.
I'm not actually inside a women's prison at the moment.
The horniest just went up to like 11.
Good afternoon.
A big you to
I say hello, and I turn this down, and I want to get the podcast started. We don't have time to waste. I've got so many voicemails. I might consider. We'll see where we get when the voicemails show up, but like, I might consider just doing another episode tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. Lots to talk about. Let's get to it. Shout out to the audiodepartment.ca for helping me make this podcast possible. They are wonderful. They are handsome. They are here to help not only have you or give you a space to record something, but also make sure it sounds wonderful. Podcast, music, whatever you got, they're there for you. The audiodepartment.ca is the place to be for all things audio. Got it? Simple. Got it. Starting off the podcast, a couple of minor adjustment or updates from life. One, the most important one I could think of is that I finally finished Love Island USA. Thank you. I love dating shows. Everybody knows it. Something wrong with my brain. It's broken. But I love them. I very much love them. Love Island, though, that season has got 31 episodes. That's too many. That's too many by about 20. I like to be in the soft spot or the sweet spot, like Too Hot to Handle, which, by the way, is a better show. Now that I've done Love Island, I can go pivot to Too Hot to Handle, the newest season. I'm way behind. I'm months behind. People have seen it. They're lapping me. There's spoilers out there. I can't see any of it. But that one is like 10 episodes. That's sweet. I could follow it through. Love Island is a slog. They must have, like, I don't watch it in real time and it's actually on TV, so they must have like 3 episodes a week or some shit like that, don't they? Anyway, I'm done. Finally. I don't even remember the couple that won. What were their names again? Cordell and Sabrina? I think they won. Either way, I was over it very, very quickly. Slogged through, though. I'm no quitter. Big Brother, however, so good. I can't wait to watch the episode tonight. I am caught up. I am loving Tucker. I'm not going to give spoilers on the podcast. I got in trouble for that a couple of times over the last year, or I guess last season specifically. I got in trouble for it a couple of times. So I'm not going to give spoilers, but what I will say is Tucker, fantastic. The way the houses are the house is flipping on each other, fantastic. The chaos, fantastic. The weirdos this season, awesome. I don't like the AI thing. I would rather listen to Julie Chen Moonves. But I get it. I had to spice it up. The AI arena or whatever it's called, it's like the second veto competition, more or less. So good. This season of Better Lait Than Never. This season of Better Lait Than Never is not that good. This season of Big Brother is arguably one of the best I can remember. And it came at a time that was needed because I almost tapped out. I didn't, though. The other big news that happened just yesterday, I guess, and this one has me excited. I've been a fan since the 90s. Oasis getting back together finally. The two brothers. Yes. Congratulations. The two brothers, Liam and Noel Gallagher, they finally put aside their differences. Those two fucking hated each other. They act like rock stars. They're total pricks, in my opinion, and I love it. The songs are good, too. They're kind of like a band next door, but they're also shitheads. There's something about it that I love. And I think it might just be a lot of people in my age group that feel the same way because like Nickelback almost, a lot of people are very much love or hate a band like Oasis. I personally love them. I saw them at Rexall Place shortly before the band broke up last time. I would like to see them again. I wonder if they get through these UK shows. I'm not going to fly the UK to watch Oasis. That's madness. I wonder if they can get through these, if they'll extend to a North American tour. Think of all the money. Think of all the money that's on the table.
Oh, there's so much money. Oh, I was looking around Twitter. Satan was diving into the internet because you know I love cigarettes and alcohol. Great song. So I was cruising around the internet trying to get an idea of how much tickets are and what people are thinking and if I should weasel my way into Wembley Stadium via a back door. Anyway, people are complaining about the tickets and showing that part of some of the last tours, they were very reasonable, less than $50 for a ticket. I can't see that being the case this time.
Who's Oasis? I don't even know what we're talking about. I'm on vacation. I'm Vacation Quads. The only music I'm listening to is... I guess Bagmilk doesn't even really know what kind of music I listen to. He doesn't even have a joke here to say. So, I'm just going to go ahead and say that I'm listening to Canucks Conversation on loop. I like to listen to my own voice, which is this one right here. I'm on vacation. Vacation Quads listens only to himself. I'm like Lil Wayne in a rap. I can't copy someone else if I only listen to myself. Back to vacation I go. See you later.
So, the late 30, early 40-somethings were rallying around the Oasis news. Excited about it. More important local Edmonton news. No, and I'm not talking about 630 Ched moving to 880 on your AM dial in October. That just got announced today by Chorus Entertainment. I'm talking about Eric Sabrowski, nation guy, nation citizen, being called up to the Cleveland Guardians to do a little pitching in the big leagues, and that is so fucking cool. Got to meet Eric a couple of times at a few different nation events over the years. The last time I think I saw him, he was still recovering from the Tommy John surgery he got, and he basically had a robot arm on, make sure that his elbow was all stretched out. And he's just such a nice guy. He's such a big Oilers fan, and he's a great Edmontonian, and I couldn't be happier for him. So I would be remiss if I did not say congrats to the dude, because Eric, that is so fucking cool, man. You are a guy I kind of know that's going to the big leagues. You're going to pitch in Major League Baseball. That's awesome. It's awesome. Super pumped for him. Really nice guy. Really, really nice guy. He's got gas too. He's a lefty. Fucking love it. Shout out to Eric Sabrowski. Sticking with sports, that's not hockey. I have made it down to a final 3 in terms of my NFL team of choice that I'm going to be rooting for this year. And do you want to know the top 3? Of course you do. The top 3. Again, remember the rules. We got to go through the rules. 1, destination city. A city I would enjoy going to that is a direct flight away from Edmonton. So that cut out a lot of teams. You know, the Dolphins were in the mix for a lot of reasons. That is not a direct flight from Edmonton. So these are the teams that have made the list. I didn't mean to push that again, but I did. The Chicago Bears. The reason the Bears are on the list, 1, I would like to go to Chicago. By all accounts, it's a great city. 2, the merch. I like the merch. It's simple. I like the colors. Similar to Oilers colors, blue and orangey. 3, exciting players to get behind. They just had the first overall pick, Caleb Williams. I watched a preseason game against the Bengals. He was chucking dimes. I know it's preseason. It's not the same, but he was fun to watch. Hooked me. They have the potential to be good. I know they're going to be bad, but I didn't want to jump on a bandwagon. I didn't want to jump on one of the best teams in the league. I didn't want to do that. That wasn't going to be my approach. I didn't want to be a guy who could jump on a Super Bowl contending team and be like, been here the whole time. What the fuck good? So the Bears, obviously, first overall pick last year, they were terrible. So there's something to cheer for. I got players to cheer for. Next up, let's do this one. That's a fun button. Next up is the Minnesota Vikings. Why? Merch. I like the color scheme. I like the purple. I think they got cool merch. 2, I like that there's a lot of people that dress up in Viking garb to go to their games. That's fun. 3, Justin Jefferson. That is straight from watching receiver. I watched it. I like his shtick. I like his character work, if you want to call it that. He's fun. One of the best receivers in the National Football League. I don't know necessarily that's a destination city, but I can work with it. And I think they've got potential to have some good players, or at least be entertaining. Finally, let's do this one. The Vegas Raiders. 1, destination city. Who doesn't love Vegas? 2, merch. Awesome. Arguably some of the best. 3, players. Well, so those ones aren't, that one's not like, I don't know enough yet. So they do have players worth watching. They are, painfully mediocre. But there are, like Devontae Adams is he's a great receiver. He's getting a little bit older, but Devontae Adams is fun to watch. He's great. He went from Green Bay to Vegas, played on a shitty team. He was getting all mad about it. He was talking about how bad they were in receiver. It registered with me. As an Oilers fan, having a good player on the team be like, this is the time, and then things still suck. Come on, that's an Oilers story if you've ever heard one, no? So those are the 3. I haven't decided which yet, but I got about 2 weeks left until the season starts, just under 2 weeks maybe. So I will have a decision there. I'm going to be ordering a hat probably next week or something, some kind of t-shirt or a hat to officially launch my allegiance to a team. So those are the 3. If you got opinions, the Bears, the Vikings, and the Raiders. Again, I didn't want to jump on a good team's bandwagon. Watching receiver, Debo and George Kittle from San Francisco, they're fun. I liked those players a lot, both of them. But San Francisco's too good. They're too good. So I can't have that. I can't be told that I'm a bandwagon jumper. No, I'm not. So I'm going to jump on the bottom of the bandwagon. I'm going to get run over by the bus. I'm going to drag behind it like I'm Keanu Reeves in Speed 1. That didn't happen. He was under the bus, though. Remember? He was on that cart thing. Finally, before we get to the news, Oilers Nation Open is happening on Friday. Could not be more excited about it. I'm very, very, very much looking forward to seeing everybody. We've got a lot of people that are flying in. Captain Felton, I heard you're flying in. Mainlander Tim, I heard you're flying in. I know Banjo Guy's going to be there. We're going to have a great crew. We're going to have a great day. We're going to have a fantastic day out at Mill Woods Golf Club. But until then, let's get to the news. The news is brought to you by Star Mechanical. Star Mechanical is one of Edmonton's biggest locally owned and operated plumbing and heating businesses. They've been working within the community for over 20 years. And many of the homes built here in Edmonton over the last 2 decades have had their plumbing and heating systems installed by Star Mechanical. They work with top local award-winning home builders on their new homes and will work closely with the CHBA on events like the Awards of Excellence in Housing. Sticking with some Edmonton news, did you see, I mentioned it off the jump, that 630 Ched, Chorus Entertainment announced today that 630 Ched will be rebranding to 880 Ched. They are taking over the CFCW slot, which I wrote about this for Oilers Nation today, so I want to get my details right on what happened. In June, CFCW or 880 was global news. So for some reason, Chorus thought they needed 2 all news stations within the same city. Didn't work, I guess, clearly. Back in June, they shut down 880 and just started simulcasting what was going on Ched over on 880. According to radioinsight.com, both stations are 50 kilowatt. The 630 allocation is directional day and night as opposed to 880 being non-directional during the day. Chorus flipped 880 CHQT from an all-news global news radio to simulcast Ched back in June. So they've basically had 2 Cheds in the city. I'm very concerned for our senior citizens. I'm concerned for everybody who loves Ched. Maybe missed the news today. Come October 9th, when this switchover happens, somebody's going to go to 630 Ched on their AM dial, and there's not going to be anything there. I feel for you. Remind your grandparents and your parents about this change today. Put it on their calendars for them. Write it down somewhere. They're going to need to update their presets. Everything's going to be all fucking out of whack. Can't have that. Now, let's get back to the Oilers. Last Friday, I guess this past Friday, I suppose, Last Friday. Frank Seravalli tweeted out, UFA update. The Edmonton Oilers are perusing the market for right shot D-men, including Justin Schultz, Tyson Barrie, and Kevin Shattenkirk, among others. The interesting thing to me is, one, I thought that the right side, albeit not my favorite position on the depth chart currently, they've got a lot of righties there. So Justin Schultz, Tyson Barrie, Kevin Shattenkirk, they're all righties. They're all point-producing defensemen, but I don't understand why we need them given Evan Bouchard already up on the first slot. Then again, nothing's happened since Friday. I'm curious if we're going to get a PTO or a contract or anything in between. I called Frank and he just said they're kicking tires. Who knows what will happen? Paraphrasing. The Seravalli news continues. He was also on Oilers Now talking to Brendan Escott on the Draisaitl extension. He says it's unfair to categorize this as hitting a snag. However, on the money basis, the AAV, I think these two sides are a little bit further apart than I envisioned. Frank thought that the Draisaitl AAV, the annual value, was going to be a little bit lower than maybe some people thought. This was a couple of weeks ago. I think Frank said that on Stauffer Show, where he was opining. He's not like reporting. This is just based on what he's heard. So he was talking about that, and it seems like maybe they're a little bit further apart. You know? Maybe they're a little bit further apart. During the appearance on Oilers Now, Frank said, I think these two sides are a little bit further apart than I envisioned. The show's producer, Brendan Escott, tweeted highlighting how Seravalli felt. It's unfair to categorize it as hitting a snag, though. That's an important detail. This is a negotiation. It's a back and forth, people. I still believe this gets done. I'm not worried about it. Not yet. I know in July, one of Leon's agents said they would like to get it done mid to late August. We were still in late August. There's still time, but also Leon is not back in the city. You know, if he's back in the city, that he will be signing the deal when he's in Edmonton. So we'll see what happens when training camp gets a little bit closer. I hope it doesn't get punted. That would be bad, but we'll see. Other news from more Bori Frank. When it talked about the PTO route, the Oilers have options and they're perusing those options. There are other things that Edmonton is looking at, I think, including a potential trade that could shake things up a little bit more than maybe just a PTO. The thing is so fluid right now. I think there are 7 different scenarios that Stan Bowman and his staff are probably looking at. They're looking at a lot of different options around the league. Again, I tried to sweat Frank. I was like, what are you talking about specifically? And he goes, everywhere. Nothing is off the table if it's going to make the Oilers better. And that's just a good attitude. They've got a roster, at least in my opinion, that can get them to the playoffs, if not the trade deadline, in a position to buy. Is that fair? Am I a fan of the defensive group as it stands today on August 28th? No, not specifically, but I think that they'll be passable enough that the rest of the team can hold them afloat. I would love to know what they're looking at. What is all options? What does that mean? Like, I thought our forward group was rocking, but maybe with losing Dylan Holloway and only adding Podkolzin as the hedge on that bet, like maybe they're like, maybe we need a little bit more firepower in the third line. I'd love to see it. Score all the goals, I say. I would love to see them find like a better option on defense. Dante Fabro is a name. Fabro is a name that's been kind of circling socials lately, and I don't know why specifically. I saw some like fake rumor accounts talking about the Oilers being interested in Dante Fabro, but according to Jason Gregor, this rumor, and I quote, this rumor makes zero sense for Edmonton. Fabro is 6 feet tall. He is an elite offensively and is not a tower defensively. From a pure player-for-player trade, I see little reason why Edmonton would entertain this move. Max Wanner, who's apparently the returned, the prospect of interest in this alleged trade. Max Wanner is still very raw, but he's a great skater, stands at 6'3" and plays very physical. He needs to improve his puck skills to be a regular in the NHL, but he has plenty of time to work on that. Add in the salary cap implications, and the trade makes a very little sense. Adding Fabro's salary eliminates any options the Oilers may have, with Vander Kane being on the IR instead of LTIR. I would be floored if the Oilers made this deal. So Gregor throwing a little bit of cold water on that one. Back to Frank, though. This is the Frank news, after all. Working through it for our friends at Star Mechanical. Tony D'Angelo. A name that just causes some folks to get up in arms just by the name. Apparently, according to Frank, he would be interested in coming to Edmonton, and it wouldn't be costing him all that much. And I quote, "All the intel that I have is that he's a really well-liked teammate. Have there been some skirmishes that have popped up over the courses of his career? Did he gain notoriety for his Twitter account? All of those things are true. Some of them are true. Some of them have become legend. But I think what you're talking about is a potential for a 50-point defenseman on your team that is still in his 20s, that is ready, willing, and able to play for close to league minimum and would absolutely love to be in Edmonton. If the goal is to win, teams can't hold a popularity contest when it comes to bringing in players. Are we looking to have a team full of nice guys who win in the community, or are we looking to have a team that wins the Stanley Cup? I think there's a way to blend both of those missions." Tony DeAngelo, anybody? I don't even know what he did last year. I personally don't see a fit for Tony DeAngelo, but what's clear about my fandom as a Oilers fan is that they don't give two thunderous fucks, but I care what I think. Last year, he only played 31 games with the Hurricanes. 3 goals, 8 assists, 11 points in 31 games. He must have been injured. I have no idea what went on with him. The year before in Philly, he had 42 points. The year before that in Carolina, so that would have been 2021-22, he had 51 points in 64 games. The guy can put up points. I have no idea how well he defends. None at all. Right shot defenseman. He's 28 years old. He's just under 6 feet. He's listed at 180 pounds. Puck mover. I don't know. We'll see. One thing I can tell you for sure, though, is if the Oilers did sign him, which Gord knows they're not opposed to signing players with checkered pasts or questionable history, to put it lightly. Gord knows that they are the franchise most willing to do all that stuff. You know? Lord knows it. Changing gears, though, Elliot Friedman. This is kind of the insider news segment, it seems like. Not a whole lot of actual news going, so we're going in the speculation route. Again, we're working through the news for Star Mechanical from a Friedman. This was from the 32 Thoughts podcast. "I wasn't surprised Edmonton didn't match Philip Broberg's offer sheet, but I was a bit surprised that they didn't keep Dylan Holloway. However, I see what Edmonton decided. Keeping in-season cap flexibility is paramount, and they worked backward from there. They want as much ability as possible to address weaknesses in season, which means limiting LTIR use. So while this episode is complete, there's still more in the series. Let's see in a few months what Edmonton does. For now, they turn all of their attention to Leon Draisaitl." There was a couple more notes in 32 Thoughts from Freeman about the Oilers. Start off Ty Emberson. "If the newly acquired Ty Emberson plays fewer than 50 games, he will become a unrestricted free agent, but the Edmonton Oilers like him, so that shouldn't be an issue." And I quote as Friedman, "I'd mention one thing about Broberg and one thing about Holloway that were disputed. I said I heard Edmonton's offer to Broberg was in the 1.8 range, so he got a 250% bonus on what he was expecting. That was high, with the Oilers providing statistical analysis comparing him to Justin Barron and Kevin Ball offering 1.1. So Broberg received a 400% more than he was expecting. Doug Armstrong, I'm looking for this kind of offer sheet for my next deal, by the way." That's Friedman saying that. "Agents and players absolutely loved that this happened, and you can see why. Broberg never rescinded his in-season trade demand, and the Oilers knew he was unhappy. As for Holloway, I mentioned that he received a 3-year offer at some point from the Oilers. One source swears that's true, but a couple of others say no. But what I do know is this. There were 1- and 2-year offers made in July at approximately $850,000 and $1 million. Dylan Holloway obviously signed for more than $2.2 million, a 200% increase on the Oilers' biggest offer. Finally, to wrap up the news, Sam Gagner told Jim Matheson of the Edmonton Journal he plans to keep playing next season and that he has professional tryout offers. And I quote, "This is Sam speaking. I feel really good, so we will see what happens in the next month or so. I have some PTO offers and hopefully I can still get a contract, but we'll see where it goes." Gagne is now 35 years old, 6th overall pick from 2007, scored 5 goals and 10 points over 28 regular season games for the Oilers, was with the team during the playoffs, but did not get into any of those games. A lot of this is wait and see time, but that's what you expect at the end of August, right? I thought we were going to get some Leon Draisaitl news by now. I would have bet the farm on it, but we wait. I'm still not nervous yet. They're still talking. It's negotiation. If you ever bought something, you bought a house or a car, you negotiate. You don't just take the first price that they give you. You go back and forth. That's what they do. So am I nervous? No, at least not yet. Leon, sign the contract. Come on, man. Or at least give us some travel plans when you get back to town. When do you get back to town? Then I can start building the statue, at least planning it out. That's the news for Star Mechanical. The news brought to you by Star Mechanical. Visit starmechanical.ca, book an appointment, and help them help you keep your home running smoothly. starmechanical.ca.
You're listening to Better Lait Than Never. And despite what Donkey Volley might think, the voicemail is not a fucking lava lamp.
Could be. It could be a lava lamp. Not with that attitude, Dukes, not Dukes. Bets of the Week segment is brought to you by Bet365, proud partner of Better Lait Than Never. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Use the promo code OILYBONUS. The promo code is OILYBONUS. We are closing in on a new NHL season. It is just around the corner. We're going to sneeze and it's going to be October 9th. You're going to be tuning in to 880 Ched. Doesn't sound as good. You're going to be tuning into Ched, listening to some Oilers, and that's why I got some futures for you. I love futures. And this time I'm looking specifically at goal totals. Goal totals. How many Oilers would you bet on to score 30 goals? We had the discussion on Oilers Nation Radio, but now I got some odds for you. A couple of new guys make an appearance in the market to score 30 goals. The usual suspects, though, like if you're thinking Draisaitl, McDavid, and Hyman, they're not even listed because their odds are so poor. The betting community just expects. They've almost written it in pen, written it in stone that those three will get 30 goals, so they're not even included. But you know who is? New guy, Jeff Skinner. Jeff Skinner is listed at minus 170 to score 30 goals this coming season with his new team. Jeff Skinner has got 6 30-goal seasons under his belt, including 2022-23, so a couple of seasons ago with the Sabres. He had 35 goals in 79 games. He had 82 points that year for the Sabres. He is listed at minus 170 to score 30 goals. I feel like the odds aren't juicy enough for me to get in on that action because I basically have him written in for 30 already. If he can stay healthy, if he could, if he can stay healthy and play along one of the best centers in the league, be it Connor or Leon, he's going to get his looks. And he's got a shot, man. I remember even when they was drafting, he's a 30-year-old man now, but I remember when he was drafted, his whole thing was he was a sniper. He scored like 50 goals in 50 games in junior or something crazy like that. But I'm expecting him to score 30. So minus 170, odds aren't juicy enough for me. What about the other new guy? Victor Arvidsson. He has 2 30-goal seasons in his career. He has a 29 goal, so he was right on the precipice of a third. Those all happened in Nashville. Nothing in Los Angeles, though. In 2022-23, he had 26 goals, so he was right there, still a ways away. But to score 30 goals, Victor Arvidsson, plus 225. If you want a sneaky bet that's kind of juicy, that might be the one. Listen, we need some luck. We need Arvidsson to stay healthy. We need him to develop some chemistry with one of his new line mates. We need a lot of things to go right for him to get his best goal total since 2018, 2019. But this is a player with more than enough skill to get it done. It's just a matter of 1, can he stay healthy? 2, can he develop some chemistry with one of his new line mates? Plus 220 on, or plus 225 on Arvidsson to score 30. I like the bet, but I would still stay away with it. So, to score 30 goals, Jeff Skinner minus 170. Not juicy enough. Victor Arvidsson plus 225. I don't know that he can get there. I'm just worried about his health. He said he's healthy. He said he's feeling good. I'll take him at his word. I've been lied to before. bumping up to score 40 goals. Well, now we've got the usual suspects in there. We've got Draisaitl, we've got McDavid, we've got Hyman. All three of those players are minus to score 40 goals. Bettors basically think Leon Draisaitl's already got 40. He is minus 800. Connor McDavid is listed at minus 500. Zach Hyman to score 40. Minus 240. So bettors again think that Zach Hyman is just going to repeat what he did last year, or at least some version of it, and get back over the 40 goal mark. He has one 40 goal campaign in his entire career. One. And that was last year with a 54 goal season. So minus 240 for Hyman to score 40 goals. I do not like the value on any of those three bets. To score 50, let's talk about it. Draisaitl still in the minuses, minus 110 for Draisaitl. He has hit the 50 mark a handful of times now, so that one seems like a reasonable bet. It's almost a pick 'em. I don't mind that. I wish it was probably even odds, but at minus 110, it's pretty close. I might dabble in Draisaitl to score 50. McDavid, however, plus 160. He's on the right side of plus money. I think he's going to bounce back from last season. I've predicted it in my bold prediction articles at OilersNation.com. I have Connor getting 50 again, plus 160. I like that bet. Zach Hyman also listed at plus money, plus 350 to score 50 goals again. I do not like that bet. I don't expect Zach Hyman to score 50 again. I'd love to watch him do it. I just don't know that it's realistic to expect. Bumping those up to 60 goals. Only Connor McDavid has a 60 goal season among those three, but those are the only three listed in this category. Draisaitl is favorited among the Oilers at plus 700, McDavid at plus 1,000, Hyman at plus 2,500. If I was going to bet on anyone here, it would probably be Connor at the plus 1,000, but I don't. 60 goals is a lot of goals. Matthews is heavily favored in this category. He's done it a couple of times now. Can totally see betting on that one. McDavid, though, I think he's going to get 50, but I don't know that he's going to get 60. I think he's going to get a lot more assists than necessarily shooting more, especially with he's got Hyman on his line. Hyman works so well with McDavid at knowing where he needs him to be. I'm guessing we're going to get closer to 100 assists, more so than 60 goals. So there's some future bets on goal scoring for some of the key Oilers that will need to contribute this year. So if I'm going to recap, I would probably take McDavid at plus 160 to score 50 of the lot of bets that I just read. But that's the fun part about Bet365. They've got a range of markets. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on those huge range of markets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Use a promo code OILY. Bonus, use the promo code OILY bonus.
Yo. Yes, this is the MC Donkey. Throwing rhymes on the street. To the beat, I think. Ish, kind of. Yes, I'm the lyrical hamster. You won't pay this on Jamster. Look at that. Look at me with the 20-year reference to a really poor Jamster thing. Anyway, this is Donkey on the street. I've got this to the beat. I tell you what, Eminem's got nothing on me. I tell you now, Alexa, stop. Yeah, that told her. Anyway, bitch, get down.
You want to see a man, boy? I'll show you a man. Kick me in the jimmy.
For Trilogy Oilfield Rentals, it is time for the righteous sack beating. Of course, Trilogy Oilfield Rentals are an established provider of tools and expertise across multiple oilfield disciplines, specializing in rentals, pipe recovery, abandonments, and completions. Currently, they maintain full-time operating units in Provost, Weyburn, and Kindersley. What kind of tools do they have? Well, I'd love to tell you. You ready? Of course you are. Rental tools, fishing tools, coil tools, drilling tools, mills and bits, completion tools. Any tool for any job. TrilogyRentals.ca. What's bothering me this week? I've got something, but I'm going to save it for next week because it's still in the works. So I kind of want to find out a resolution on what's annoying me right now before I complain about it publicly, because I don't know if I want to sewer the company by name or not. I haven't decided yet. Part of it is going to be how they resolve my issue. So we will talk about it maybe next week if I get the resolution that I think that they're probably going to give, which is not good. It's not good. And I'm kind of mad. And I'd love to bury them. And I'd love to stack up negative Google reviews on their business. I'd love to kind of get really petty with it. But I'm going to be patient. I'm going to be an adult. I'm going to think a little bit bigger. Thankfully, at least this week, we've got a guest, a righteous sack beating. So I'm going to give you the button and then I'm going to press play. Here's the button.
You want to see a man, boy? I'll show you a man. Kick me in the jimmy.
And now I press play.
All right, so this one, I come to you with a heavy heart with this one. It's a workplace beef, which obviously coming to a hockey-adjacent podcast is the best way to settle,
of course,
workplace beef.
Yeah.
Sort of goes out to someone called Brandon, who, the last few months is someone I've met and come to really respect. And, they've been somewhat of a mentor for me in my new job and all that kind of stuff. And really like them, get along, never had a problem. His wife's Canadian, so, he understands. He knows what ice hockey is. But today he was working from home, and we had like a little, our team had a meeting and whatever. And when he dialed in, I looked up at the screen. He had a Calgary Flames T-shirt on.
Yeah.
And when I queried as to why this might be the case, he said he wore it just for me. So, I mean, obviously hostile work involved. Well, if Calgary Flames were anything like substantial, it would have been a hostile work environment. But it's more just no, that's cute. Like, they suck. Like, whatever. But like, Brendan, mate, I really respected you, but now I just don't think I can. So, like, sorry, mate. Just, I don't know.
Well, these are decisions we have to make. Do we punch our coworkers or do we not? It's kind of like when Waz picked the Dallas Stars to win in 6 games in the playoffs. A lot of us wanted to fill a bag with hammers and beat him up with it. Now, cooler heads prevailed. We did not. Waz was safe. He will always be safe at work. But the thought was there. So, Dukes, I understand a little bit of workplace hostility, especially if your coworker, your Canadian friend, is taunting you with Flames merch. Sounds to me like he doesn't really care, though, about the Calgary Flames. Sounds to me like he might be, a big fan of you. Just wants to rile you up a little bit. He knows you're the Oilers guy. Maybe he even saw you do a beer, what do you call it, out of a hockey stick? When you chug a beer out of a hockey stick. Whatever that's called. It's like a sticky. A shoey, but out of a stick. Anyway, I think he just wants to spend more time talking to you. So I think this hostility is actually a plea for friendship. I think this is a good thing. I think your beef with him wearing Flames gear, that's legit. But I think the crux of it, I think the germ of the idea was that he just wants more Dukes time. And I can understand that. You're a lovely man. You're a lovely person. And for that, Judge Bagmilk says, I think we're on the clear here. But if you do need a fist fight and you need if you need an alibi where you were, I mean, you could always say you're with me. I don't know if they'll buy it given that you're on the other side of the planet. However, you could say you're with me. I'll open that up. I'll lie for you. Maybe. Right? There's the right to sack beating.
You want to see a man, boy? I'll show you a man. Kick me in the jimmy.
It's another week on Better Late Than Never. It's another week of Nick crying in the voicemail, throwing temper tantrums. He is a baby, so small and frail. Does he need a bottle? Does he need to be birthed? Does he need a diaper change? Cause why God is he such a little baby? Why God is he always crying? Will someone please give him shaken baby syndrome?
I was just getting into it. And it cuts off like that. Where's the music, boys? I want some more music for the start of the season. I want to clear out this bumper board too. So I think on a weekend, I might just go through all of them. And I think we might just clear them out. Dukes, maybe that's something we can do together. Something to think about. Something to consider. What do you think? Let me know. DM me on Instagram, would you? Time for the voicemail. Go. The voicemail is presented by Oodle Noodle. I love Oodle Noodle, 18 locations and counting. You can get 4 for $4 torpedo shrimp, or you can make it a meal anytime for $6.99 in store. That includes your box. It also includes an order of 2 spring rolls and a green onion cake with a pop. Get yourself a drink, get yourself fed, improve your life. Oodle Noodle. Follow the memes too. Wanya and I make a lot of memes. Oodle Noodlegram on Instagram. Oodle_noodle on Twitter. Go follow us. We're very funny. We're very, very funny. I've got a lot of voicemails today, and I'm looking at them, and I'm regretting my decision to just battle this out. But you know what? We're going to do it. I don't want to do another voicemail episode tomorrow, so we're going to grind through. The rule is, as always, if you bore me, I'm skipping you, especially when there's this many to get through. So let's get through. Anonymous caller, who be you?
All right. I never thought I'd utter these words in the same sentence, like for the, what, blah, blah, blah. Anyway. But I've got, it pains me to say it. I just need to say it fast. I've got beef with Carl the Embalmer.
Kyle the Embalmer is starting to attract beef from multiple BLTN listeners. I'm fascinated to see where this one goes. Dukes, what is your problem with Kyle?
Awesome person. I never thought this would my life would come to this, but this is, you leave me no choice. I don't know why yous are all so fucking anti-wedding on a long weekend. Like, motherfucker, that's like, what long weekends are for. Like, going away somewhere, catching up with people that you don't get to see as often, all that kind of stuff, and having, like, a good time. Does a wedding not tick all those boxes? Like, maybe if you get invited to a wedding on a long weekend and you think, I don't want to see those, but maybe you just hanging out with the wrong people, or maybe you got the wrong circle. Like, fuck me, man. Like, if one of my good friends was getting married on a weekend, or even if it's someone I don't, well, Cass is a good friend of mine, is just a guy I happen to know. But if they were getting married on a long weekend, fucking oath. Mate, I could not think of a better way to spend a long weekend. Fuck. If you would rather sit at a lake or sit at a whatever instead of go to your friend's wedding, you're a bit of a cunt. Anyway, yeah.
I can't wait for Kyle to listen to that and then respond. I understand both sides of it, I guess. Like, when Tyler told me he was getting married a long weekend, I didn't really care because, he's doing it in the city. It's probably going to be on a Saturday or something. I'll still have the rest of the long weekend after. I could see why if you were getting married on the long weekend, it would be a thing. Because again, like Jay's point is, every long weekend going forward is anniversary time. And that might limit your action to do activities. But attending a wedding on a long weekend, I don't really have a problem with it, if I'm being honest. I don't really. Like, I'm going to go. I have no problem with it. I love camping too. Maybe it's not as much as some other people. Maybe. Next voicemail comes in from Nate. What do you guys say?
All right. Well, I just got back from California. I went there for a vacation to see my friend.
Braggart.
But anyways, I went to the Honda Center where the Ducks play. Went into the Ducks store.
Yes.
The lady asked if I needed help with anything. I said, absolutely not. I'm not a Ducks fan. I'm an Oilers fan. And she gave me the stink eye. And I said, actually, if you have anything that is Corey Perry, I'll maybe consider it because he plays for us now. And then she just looked at me, didn't say anything. So that was a little awkward, but the Duck store was a 0 out of 10. Felt like puking in there. Everything was disgusting. I hate the Ducks. 2017 still haunts me. But if it wasn't a Duck store, if that were to be the Oilers store, it was a nice store besides all the stuff that was in it.
Well, I'm trying to think of how to respond to this, because you went into a Duck store and you're like, I don't want any of this crap. It's like, I don't know what you're expecting to go into another team's merch store. I don't know what's going on with you, man. It'd be like If I go into the Flame store and I go, well, this all looks like shit. And they're like, oh, is there something I can help you? I was like, no, I'm an Oilers fan. And they'd be like, what are you doing here then? I like you, Nate. I like you. Anonymous caller, who be you?
Okay, another thing about
Nate again.
California, well, I guess this is the States in general. Why the hell do they take your credit card when you go to pay at a restaurant? Like,
It is wild. It is interesting. Yeah.
how cheap are you? You can't have the machines? You
They
gotta
don't have the
take
machines.
my credit card away?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know they did that. So I
Yeah.
went to pay at, we were at like this place called Cheesecake Factory or something. And
We have those too.
guy takes my card. I'm like, wait, what the hell? I asked my buddy, I'm like, why is he taking my card? He's like, that's what they do here. They take your card, swipe it or whatever.
And then you got to sign.
It like pays for it. I'm like, they're so cheap to have actual like debit machines. Like in Canada, they just bring the machine up, you tap, you give your tip, and you're out of there.
It's all about convenience.
Instead, they take your card, they swipe it, they bring back a piece of paper, and then you got to write your own tip on a piece of paper. You got to draw these lines so that they don't jip you out of more money. It's dumb.
You know what? I'm with you on that one. Every time I go to the States and they take my credit card away and I got to sign the paper and I got to do the math myself on the tip, I don't like it. We need to get the USA on board with having a terminal machine or whatever those things are called and bring it to you. Can we get there, please? I would really like to get back to that with the States because when you come home, it's very convenient. They bring it to you. You can just sit there, you tap, you're done, away you go. Then you're in limbo. You're in limbo when they take your card. You feel like a piece of you is missing. So I'm with you, Nate. But I don't like that one at all. I'm with you. Woz, what do you got?
Hey, Big Milk, how we doing?
Yellow.
I got a bone to pick with Yaremchuk. Honest question, how has this guy never won the Oilers Nation Open based on how much he golfs? You'd think for a guy who golfs almost every weekend during the summer, I see it on his stories.
More than that.
You'd think he'd be good enough to win the ON Open, especially by now. I'm listening to real life. I'm like, oh, we got to win the tournament. We never won it, you know? Is the competition that tough for Yaremchuk that he can't win the ON Open? He better get it done this year. I'm just saying. It's a little embarrassing. I know it's never a good idea to call it Yaremchuk, but just saying. Pick up your game.
Yeah, I agree. Woz, I encourage you to make a clip and post this right before the Oilers Nation Open on Friday. Ask Tyler. Ask people why Tyler is no good at golf. To be fair, though, in all seriousness, that team has got second place in the tournament 2 or 3 times now. So there's always a really good team that wins. There's always people that bring in ringers. But the real life team is legit, Woz. Even coming in second in our tournament when there's a lot of athletes, a lot of golfers. It's pretty good, my man. It's pretty good. Got to give Tyler credit, and he does golf a lot. And I think he is. I've golfed with Tyler. He is dialed in. I mean, I'm a terrible golfer. I'll admit it. I'm terrible. But Tyler is pretty good. This one says Nick and a girl. Last week we got Nick and a girl, and there was no girl, so I don't expect one here either.
Hey, BM, this is Nick here. And this is his girl. He. Sorry about that, Nick. I just don't think you're going to get a girl. Anyway, BM, I just have a theory I want to run by you.
Go ahead.
So, Woz said that his McDonald's got taken in the middle of the night. And he said it was ripped open on his front porch.
Yeah.
And he was wondering what it was. Well, I have a theory that he thinks it's a bird that took his meal. And that's why he's been killing all the birds. Anyway, I just thought of it, and I wanted to see if you agree or not.
You know what? I think that now that you say it, I'm going to follow you down the rabbit hole, and I say I agree. Now, here's the thing. Depending on what kind of birds we're talking about, like crows and shit, they'll remember you for a long time. Read about crows. They're very smart. And if you fuck with a crow, it can remember you for a while. So, in your theory here, going back to last week's episode when Woz and his missus got hammered and ordered McDonald's and left it out on the front porch, an animal had eaten it. I thought, well, it's probably a dog, you know? A dog will come in there and eat your McDonald's. But now that you mentioned this, maybe there's a murder of crows living near Woz somewhere, and they know his disdain for birds. They know his history of bird hatred. When they saw an opportunity, that murder of crows, they came, they appeared, they ate, they feasted. All of a sudden, I think that's the likely scenario. Crows will remember you. They'll swoop you for years. Something to think about. Woz, thoughts? Let's move it along.
Okay, so props to Danger Suede. During that, the Bit for Dan Nation Radio that Mainland Tim put together, Danger Suede, cutting edge journalism there, mentioning that, Dan just wore the bib and the shoes and, basically, wore the breeze, I guess, as attire during the marathon. But that sort of raises the question, like he was saying, those power gels or whatever, those energy gels that he had in his pocket.
Yeah, I had the vanilla bean. It was very, very bad. It tasted like the worst pudding you've ever had. Back to you, Diggs.
Warm up as you're running because, it's warm. But given he was not wearing clothes.
Yeah, he's Pooh Bear.
Which pocket did he put them in?
I think you know the answer to your own question, don't you?
So once again, Danger Suede is responsible for a vital piece of information that's very helpful, but also a reason I will probably, another thing to add to my list in my next therapy session. So yin and yang, once again. By the way, for those of you wondering, Danger Suede's government name is actually Trevor. So, whoops, cat's out of the bag there, Trev, but I'm sure you won't be mad.
Way to ruin the illusion. You broke the fourth or fifth wall. I don't know which wall we're breaking here on a podcast. You broke the wall. Trevor Suede is his name, actually. Not many people know that. Kyle and Balmer, you're up.
Oh, Woz. You just... Woz. Okay, look. I think it's been discussed a few times already. I'm sure that many people have talked to you. And regardless of what Jay has to say. Actually, that's not true. What Jay has to say is legitimate too. But Woz, if your girlfriend says she doesn't want a gift, you got to buy her a gift.
If you don't remember or you missed last week's episode, basically Woz called in for some advice because it was his Mrs. birthday and she's lovely. And when he asked her what she wanted for her birthday, she did the thing that girls always do and said, I don't want anything. So what did he do? He bought her nothing and then tried to make up for it after the fact when she was like, did you really not buy me anything? So here's, I asked for some married folks to chime in. Colleen Balmer is a married man. Here he is with some advice.
I don't know what it is. I can't even tell you what it is. Girls are complicated. But if they tell you they don't want something, they always want something. And Jay has a point that your girlfriend should know you better and that you take things very literal. But at the same time, man, you got to be better. Was. Okay. You need to go out and you need to get her something. Not flowers, not a massage. You need to do something really good for her. Because you put yourself in the doghouse, man. She won't forget it. She's not going to forget the birthday that you forgot or just didn't buy her anything. So, yeah, I pray for you, buddy. I pray for you.
It's going to be like 2035 and Woz and Cass are going to get into an argument. She's going to go, oh, yeah, well, you remember back in 2024, you didn't even buy me a birthday present. It's going to come out more than once. I guarantee it. I promise you. Woz, take the advice. Put it in your pocket. Save it for next year, okay? Or Christmas. If she says nothing, she doesn't want anything for Christmas, I don't know when your anniversary is. All of these are kind of mixed into the same advice. Okay, pal? All right. Derek, you're up.
Fuck you, Kyle. You're a piece of shit. Kyle, I love you. You're a piece of shit, though. Fuck you.
I love South Park. I've been watching that show since I'm 12 years old. Also, having a voicemail say, fuck you, Kyle, immediately after Collie and Balmer left a voicemail, that's just pure luck. That's just pure luck of playing things and hearing them for the first time. Shout out to Derek for a little South Park clip. We've got anonymous caller. Who be you?
Well, I caved.
We got Chad here. Chad, I know your voice already. You used to give me like mood Chad. Like which mood Chad was in when he left the voicemail. You don't do that anymore. Anyway, back to you.
I got myself a last minute Metallica ticket.
Oh, nice.
I'm driving home right now. That was awesome. I was watching a movie Friday night during the show, and I could hear it from my house. And I heard, "Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire." Ooh. And I was just gutted that I wasn't there. And I was resigned to the fact that I wasn't going to be going. And yeah, they were my childhood #1 band, like a lot of my childhood. And I've never got to see them. It's just never worked out. And last night, I just could not shake it. And I went and looked for tickets, and I found pretty good seat for like $135. And I just pulled the trigger, and I'm so glad I did. Like, I felt really guilty spending the money, but I'm so glad I did. That is like, it's a night I'll never forget. Like, I don't even listen to them once a month, maybe not even once every 2 months, because, moved on. But yeah, that was amazing. They were so good live for how old they are. They've been on the road for 43 years, and they crushed it. I was really surprised. Yeah, the whole thing was awesome.
After the
life things.
After the 2 shows, the Metallica shows at Commonwealth happened, I kind of felt FOMO. I've seen Metallica before. They fucking wail. They rip. They're such a good band to watch live. But I decided ultimately that I didn't want to go because it was at Commonwealth. Commonwealth is not my favorite place to watch a concert. But I regretted not going. I did feel like I missed out. So, Chad, I'm going to have to live through you. I looked at the set list too. Sunday was the better of the 2 set lists, in my opinion. So, if I'm going to feel FOMO on any of those, it has to be the Sunday night show. Colby and Balmer, you're up.
Hey, BM. So, now that we got Waz out of the way, I listened to you guys talking about your favorite concerts on Real Life, and I thought I would weigh in. I know I might get some heat on this, whatever, but I'd say one of the best concerts I've ever been to, Nickelback.
I would love to see
Lady
Nickelback.
Gaga.
I would love to see Lady Gaga.
What else? Those are the 2 that kind of stick out to me right now.
I'd love to see
Brooks
both of
was
those.
really good too.
I saw Garth Brooks
selling out his 9 shows.
That's why I got to take a picture of the banner every time I'm in Rogers Center. Or Rogers Place, I should say. Got to take a picture of the Garth banner. Got to make sure we never forget those 9 shows. I think I went to show 9, but I went.
But I also figured I'd throw in one of the particular shows that I think was probably the absolute worst concert I've ever been to in my life.
Go ahead.
System of a Down.
Really?
I really liked System of a Down at the time.
I still do.
When they brought out their last 2 albums. The thing was, I think when you go to a concert, people don't want to just hear the songs. They want to have some band interaction. And System of a Down, they just came out, they played their songs. They didn't say hi. They just came out, they played, they left. No encore. There's nothing. And it sounded terrible. So, that was the worst concert I've ever been to.
I don't mind if bands don't talk all that much. It depends who the band is, though. Like, if I go to Blink-182, I expect the banter, I expect the dumb jokes, I expect the dick jokes, I expect Mark and Tom to make fun of each other. That's part of the experience of a Blink show. When I went and saw them when they had Matt Skiba filling in for Tom DeLonge, it was not the same because the banter wasn't there. It felt like I was watching 2 dudes from Blink in a cover band. However, when I went and saw Tool, Maynard doesn't talk a whole lot, a little bit, but not a whole lot. I didn't mind at all. So I guess it's the expectation of what you expect from the band. If you've seen them before, I suppose. Sometimes the banter goes on too long and it's just kind of like, shut the fuck up and play a song. I don't like when, like, if you're up on stage and you're a band and you're going to, like, start talking at me, like, I have a cause and I'm going to talk about it. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear it at all. Going back to, you know, what I led off the show with, we're talking about Oasis. When I went and saw Oasis shortly before they broke up, they were, like, telling the audience to fuck off. And it was just like, I like that. I don't know. I thought it was funny. Yeah, if you want to tell me more about your favorite concerts you have been to, leave me a voicemail. I'd love to know. I love concerts. Live music is one of my favorite things. One of my favorite things. Anonymous caller, who be you?
He says, clearing his throat. Good afternoon. This is the donkey.
Hello.
Right. You Canadians now are allowed to smoke weed, correct? Parental warning, obviously. Well, I'm not Canadian, obviously, because with my accent, Christ's sake. But I've just partaken in a silly scenario. Yes. And let's get funkier. Right. Message to editor. Put a funk bass line just on what I've just done. Thanks. Oh shit, that was me as well. Fuck my brain.
I think your brain's great. I don't know what's going on there ever, but it's entertaining to me. It's entertaining to me. Is this also you, Donkey Volley? Let's see.
Okay, so forget that hissy fit I just had in my own head. Obviously, because I've got my head, you've got your head. We've all got heads. Heads are great, I think. Well, unless Chris Pronger, be still my beating heart, smashed Dan Cleary behind the fucking net. Yeah, the brain went out that day. Oh my God. Yeah. Never ever think about it, leave me honest. One of my favourite times. I'm rambling now, which is good, because I've got too many thoughts in my head. And, yeah, right. Okay, I should stop this. It's 43 seconds. All right, it's 47. All right, you clever bastards.
Okay. Sometimes I just sit and listen and I go, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm going to allow this to happen. That's what a lot of Donkey Volley's messages have been like. And that's what I hope they continue to be. Who be you, anonymous caller?
This who's back again. I should stop listening to crap. Reasonable rap, to be fair. White man's rap. God. Right, I'm off again. Here we go. Yeah. Let's talk about sausages, I think. Oh, I love a Cumberland ring. That sounds really, really sort of heterosexual. No, not heterosexual. I'm bisexual. I don't know. I'm talking crap now. I think Sir Bagged Milk.
Yeah.
You might want to delete this one. Actually, don't leave it in. It'd be great. I mean, let's go. Oh, right, I'm back again. Here we go. Right, exactly.
What? Yeah. I was going to say the same thing. I just didn't have the words to put it all together like that, you know? Anonymous caller, who are you?
And yes, I did actually try to put myself in the mind of a goose. It got very boring really quickly. So I stopped it. There you go. Great story. Do you know, kids?
Mm-hmm. Is this you too?
I mean, you're a chuffing goose. Let's be honest. What else are you going to get up for the morning to? Oh, yeah, mate. I'm fucking goose. Oh, yeah, mate. For some reason, I'm fucking Dukes. I'm Dukes the goose. Oh, yeah, mate. So I'm going to have a little walk about and have a little peck at that. Oh, yeah. What else are you going to do? Peck? You never know. You might flap your wings a bit and just realise that you're not going to fly because you're a goose and you get fed in the pen. Christ, is this a deconstruct of the human psyche or something? What the fuck? Really need to stop doing this.
Or don't ever stop ever. I don't know. It's up to you, really.
Hey, Best Milk Wallace here.
Whoa.
So yeah, I thought about what you said on the last pod about, me not getting my girlfriend a present for her birthday.
Yeah,
I did get her flowers. I paid for dinner at the Pint, right?
That is
Kind of
nice.
got carved a new one by you and the boys in real life. Felt that a little bit, won't lie. Did a little bit of reflection. Gonna have to go all out for Christmas. I think that's the plan.
It's a good
Step
plan.
up my game a bit. I heard you. I know what you meant. We won't make the same mistake again. That's for sure. So, yeah. Thanks for the wise words in the last pod.
Buddy, I'm here to help you. I'm here to save you from yourself, Waz. If you can't learn from old Bag Milk and the voicemail callers, the guys on Real Life Podcast, who can you learn from? We've all made our mistakes, Waz. Learn from the mistakes so you don't make them again. That's like what you said, you're going to double down at Christmas. Awesome. Perfect.
All right. Just before I start, if you can hear a sausage dog screaming in the background, my neighbor's dog's being a fuckwit.
First of all, I like that you call it a sausage dog, where we call it a wiener dog. Same dog. I know exactly what you're talking about. Nobody calls it a dachshund, do they? No one. It's a wiener dog, or as I just learned, Dukes calls it a sausage dog. And yet, even though we're different, I still understand. Amazing.
Just moved in, so the dog's not used to the place. So I'm not actually at Michael Vick's house. Anyway, bonus RSB, I didn't title it as such because I wanted to be sneaky, so...
All right, hang on. Well, you can't do a bonus RSB with one of these.
You want to see a man, boy? I'll show you a man. Kick me in the jimmy.
There you go. Back at it.
Surprise. RSB goes out to aging, right? So, I turned 33 last Friday. But, yeah, going back before that, the week before, I was at Coles, a supermarket. I was pushing around a shopping trolley or shopping cart, whatever. It was kind of askew, it kept trying to lean to the one side. And so, the muscle strain I had to use to correct it. I then went home and, got a sore back from, pushing a fucking shopping trolley around. Anyway, back to last Friday's turned 33. Over in the city, getting my car serviced. I was like, I got some time to kill. I might have a massage. Had a massage, felt awesome, really, really good massage. Wake up the next day with a sore back. So now, not only pushing a shopping trolley around a supermarket, but getting a massage is now apparently too much of an extreme sport for my body to handle. So aging can go and get fucked.
Yeah,
anyway.
I agree with you, man. I wake up sometimes, I've just got a sore back for absolutely no reason. It's annoying. It's frustrating. I hate it. Anyway. I'm with you. Getting older is bullshit. Colleen Balmer, you're old too. What do you guys say?
Hey, BM. I just wanted to ask a question.
Of course.
I've been thinking about this NFL team thing. And yeah, I think I'm still heavily leaning towards the Raiders. But the other question I have is, what happens if, since I'm free agenting, going from one team to another, what happens if somehow Atlanta is a good team this year? And I don't need to necessarily cheer for them during the year, but come playoffs, if they're in the playoffs and the Raiders aren't, am I allowed to cheer for them? Am I allowed to cheer for the Falcons? Now, I think it's a long shot, but what if that happens? What's the answer to that? So, yeah, anyway.
Well, if you're going to bail on the Falcons, then the Falcons are good. You can't go back, that's for sure. You got to just take the pain. That's why so far I've got my 3 finalists. I've got the Bears, I've got the Vikings, and I've got the Raiders. I'm going to decide over the coming days and weeks who I will pledge my allegiance to. And we'll go from there. But yeah, you can't go back. You can't bail on the Falcons, and if they're good, you go back. What are you, Dennis Grabershkov? Come back for a third tour of duty? Come on, man. Last voicemail for the Oodle Noodle voicemail coming in. Let's go.
Well, good morning, Mr. Bagged Milk.
Hello there.
Cass here, or as we all know, future Mrs. Waz, which I'm still questioning it.
We hear from the lady in question, the one who did not get a birthday gift from Waz. Cass chiming in on the podcast. I'm looking forward to this voicemail. I couldn't think of a better end. Couldn't think of a better end.
So, to give you a little bit of a follow-up on my birthday, not only did Matthew get me flowers, he also got me a candle. I mean, A for effort, but love him to death. And furthermore, I'm still going to ask this again. Are you sure there's not a grace period for this return policy on him? Because the fuck? I love him, but can someone return him for me? Anyone? Please? Or maybe just smack him for me? I would greatly appreciate it.
You listen to Sia? The return policy on Waz is the receipt is expired. Unfortunately, it is past due on that receipt for Waz. I think that it is not going to work. It's not going to work. Just kidding. The return won't work, of course. The return won't work. You're stuck with him, Cass. And the good news is that Waz has us to teach him and to guide him so that your next birthday, next August, you won't be left in this position where you get a candle and some flowers. I thought when you told him you didn't want anything for your birthday, he should have just known, but he didn't know. So now he knows. And now I think you're going to get a cool Christmas present. And that's how we're going to wrap up the voicemail for our friends at Oodle Noodle. Thank you very much to everybody who left voicemails. Go check out Oodle Noodlegram on Instagram and follow along with the memes. Goodbye, everybody. Drysdale, sign the contract, man.